So let's look at it. We're going to go through some examples here with a very simple and familiar database that we've been using before. We have the student ID and the major, the course, and the grade table, okay? Now I want to find all classes that Sally Hahn has taken, okay? Now this is the way we'll do it. We're gonna basically create a variable, a table, a relation called Sally Hahn's student ID. And you can call it anything you like, but that's just what I'll use. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the projection, or sorry, the select of last name equals Hahn and first name equals Sally from the student table. Hold on one second. Sweetheart, I'm in class. No, I'm sorry. All right, and then I'm going to take a projection of student ID, okay? And that is going to take out the student, that's going to take out the row where I have Sally Hahn, and I'm going to project out her student ID. So this table right here, this relation, is going to contain just Sally Hahn's student ID. Okay, so it's a one by one attribute, one row. Now, I'm going to go into the grade table. I'm going to take her Sally Hahn's student ID, and I'm going to join it with the grade table using that natural join. What does that do? That's going to pick out all the grades, all the grade elements, right? It's all the elements of this that have Sally Hahn's student ID in them. And then I'm going to project the CID, the class ID from that, and that's going to give me what? All the classes, Sally Hahn's classes. So that's going to be another relation, another table with one attribute, CID, and only the rows related to Sally Hahn. And then last, I wanted to find the courses, so I'm going to take the Sally Hahn's course ID table that I just created, and I'm going to join that with the course table. And I'm going to project out, all I care about is the, I'm going to project out the course name. And that I'm just going to put an R because that's the result. That's what I want. That's the final relation that is going to list all the course names of all the classes that Sally has taken. Okay? So it's the first time you've seen this being put together, but what I've done is combined these operators. So I've used the project to pull out the Sally Hahn information, sorry, the select to pull out the Sally Hahn information, then project to pull out just her student ID. Then I use that student ID here to index and pull out just all of the grade records for her. And then for those, I just pull out all the course IDs. And so this is all the courses that she's taken. And now I put this back into the course table to recover the name of that course, of those courses. So this will be a table with just the names of all the courses that Sally Hahn has taken. All right, any questions on that?
Hey, I have a quick question, Professor.
Yes, Arsh.
So I have two actually. So first, for when you write student in parentheses, is that mandatory? Like, what does that mean?
Here, student in parentheses?
Yeah, where you wrote it in red.
Yes. Okay. The reason that's a fair question. One of the reason I do this is that I'm taking the project operator over another relation, right? So the inside of the parentheses is what the project operator operates on. So if, I'm just going to go back to the project, sorry, select. I keep saying that wrong. The select, when we first defined it, here.
Mm-hmm.
You notice how I have something in parentheses. That's the relation I'm going to be operating on. I'm going to take the select with a condition and operate on another relation to get a new relation out.
Okay, and what's the difference between select and project?
Select and project are very different. Select, remember, select takes a number of rows, pulls out rows, so you have conditions on the values in a row, like the GPA greater than 3.5, so that will pull out rows of a table here. And project pulls out columns. What a project does is give you the column that a certain set you can select. Project gives you a set of columns that you request. Okay, so that's how this mnemonic is. You see how it's just essentially the orthogonal to the project, to the select operator.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
So
so
there's something I saw in the chat. Does the project operator account for any possible duplicates in the select? Yes. Remember, the project operator, whenever you do a project, it removes duplicates. So that's a really good question. So where does that come up here? You're asking about duplicates, and I'm glad you brought it up. Anna, is in this example, where could that come up? So as soon as you have a sharp eye, so you said, I see a project, and it's going to remove duplicates. Well, what's that going to do? Well, that's going to mean that I only have one value here, because I can only have, in student ID, I only have one Sally Hahn. But if I happen to have two students named Sally Hahn, then I will have two values here, and all this will go haywire, okay? So it's actually a great point. This is assuming that there's only one Sally Hahn, right? Because you're right, this won't be duplicates. If I have two student IDs, then this whole thing is going to give me a list of all the classes that either one of them have taken, right? I'm going to get very confused, not what I want, okay? So there's an assumption, hidden assumption there. Good. All right. Everybody get it? So as soon as you do this, this is going to throw out all the duplicates too. So what is that going to mean? Anyone? Why is that important here? This. What could possibly cause duplicates there? Let's say there's only one Sally Hahn. Anybody?
You might retake a course.
Exactly. Thank you, Sid. That's right. You might retake a course. So Sally actually took a course twice. I'm only going to see her student that course ID once. In some ways, I'm just trying to find out the classes she's taken, so I don't really mind if she took a class twice. Okay. But there's another problem in here. Anybody spot it? It's right here. What am I doing? I'm going to do a project onto the course name. And now I may have two classes with the same name. Okay, like freshman seminar. And what if I have freshman seminar she took a freshman seminar in the IEOR department and she took a freshman seminar in data science, or who knows? Then it's only going to show me one freshman seminar. Okay, if the title, the name of that is the same. Okay. So this makes some assumptions here that courses names are unique and that Sally Hahn's name is unique. Okay, but that's what I want you to be on the lookout as you start to go through this. But hopefully a big light bulb has gone off in your head, because you suddenly see that you can actually do really interesting things with these operators, because once you have these relations, these tables defined, which you now know how to do, now start to put them together and extract interesting information out of them.